Well, when you make Alexander Kerfoot look like an MVP, you know you're doing the tank right. We're going to talk about another Sharks loss this evening to the hands of the Arizona Coyotes 5-2 after this. But first, before we tell you why Alexander Kerfoot should deserve the Hart Trophy, be a part of the show and join the conversation with us and fellow Alexander Kerfoot fans on the page or the different apps, of course, that being YouTube. Check us out on X, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Reddit, Discord, the shenanigans that go on TikTok, all of that and more at tealtownusa.com, or check out the Teal Town USA Venmo and throw us some love or donation love for Puck Guy to get new internet. Yeah, that would be great. But anyhow, I am pleased to be joined by Jules. Good evening, Miss Jules. How are you doing?
I'm good. I watched the most boring game of my life. I'm living my best life. The Sharks are back at sucking, and we're tanking for Sobrini, baby.
Woo! Engaging back in that tank. Go, go, go. Like I said, I mean, honestly, when they had that little jolt of life, when they like shocked a freaking dead corpse to hop for a little bit. I'm like, look, don't anybody get any ideas of grandeur here. It's going to be really rough, and it's going to be months of pain.
How many more games are left? How many more of these left?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Exactly. That's exactly where we're at. I mean, Ian just going off in the chat. I love you, Ian, so much.
I'm not on the chat, and I'm scared to read that chat right now.
So, I mean, we all know what the real problem is here.
The Sharks are making the playoffs. That's what's going on, guys.
No, it's Sharky. Sharky has been the real problem here. I mean, he says that effer has been here for all of it. And now Ian's like, all of it.
You heard it here first. Sharky's the reason why the Sharks suck.
Yeah, and he's like, fire Sharky.
Fire Sharky. Fuck defense. We're going to go ahead and fire Sharky.
Yeah, that's the real problem. Sharky is the real problem.
I mean, the Cuda mascot did just like smack a guy in the head from the Wranglers the other night. So, like,
Well, in that first period, I mean, it was literally the dullest period of Sharks hockey I have seen in a long time, and just like completely just drained the mental life out of me. I don't know about you, Jules, but that first period was just horrible.
I would fall asleep to that period. Like, that was the most boring period of hockey I think I've watched in a while. I mean, I also think we're a little spoiled right now because we had a ton of comeback wins and stuff like that. But, like, that was atrocious by the Sharks.
Yeah, it looked like they stumbled into the game. It looked like they weren't really ready. And, if I don't know, like the team did not look good against the Kings. Like, they looked completely outclassed.
They were manhandled against the Kings. They were absolutely manhandled against the Kings.
But I thought that, maybe tonight they would come back and said, and would say to themselves, okay, let's put in a good effort tonight. And let's really try to show a team that's kind of in contention for playoffs, like what we can do. And yet they come out with, just like I said, the most lackluster effort. And I mean, the shots on goal would be 7-12 in favor of the Sharks, but it was just never any follow up to exterior kind of shots. I mean, I don't know, Jules. It was just really
I
boring.
mean, I will say this: the Sharks have looked immensely different ever since Sturm went out with that injury. Mind you, when the Sharks were winning, Sturm was in the lineup, and he was a big part of it. Ever since Sturm has left this lineup, and I'm not saying this like the minute Sturm comes back, we're making the playoffs, but I'm saying like there's a chunk missing with Sturm out. Like that guy brings something. I don't know what it is, but like whenever Sturm is in there, they look a lot better, except for the beginning of the year.
Well, I can tell you, Jules, I mean, just their face-off percentage tonight, 49.51% in favor of the Coyotes. So, I mean, he brings that as just like one of the small things, you know what I mean? Um,
There's too much happening in this chat, guys.
yeah, right.
Move on from that right now.
All right, so we get through that first period, and it ends up being nothing, and then the second period, again, you could kind of say that they started the period a little bit probative, and then we get a massive scoring that just happens at 4:58. Michael Kesselring gets the scoring started.
Did not
with
know
his,
that man existed until tonight.
I mean, every time they say Kesselring, I'm thinking Kessel. Like I just cop off the ring part, and I think of Hot Dog Boy. That's all that I think about. But Kesselring scores, and then Anthony Duclair comes in and just a real great secondary effort on a great defensive play from Zetterland, and gets him the ice and springs him.
That was a nice move by Duke right there. Like nice move. I really like Duclair. I know he was healthy scratched, but I really like Duclair. And that was a sick setup. I think it was Zetterlund who fed him the puck right there.
Yeah. Zetterlund really did a great did a great job setting that one up.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it was a nice move by Duke. I thought Duclair had. I mean, that line I think struggled a little today, but overall, I mean, Duke had a very nice goal there.
Oh, did you see Ian? That would be
After
Kessel
that.
3-ring.
Oh God, Ian. Jeez.
Well,
we're not derailing at all.
I mean, again, they started to kind of make it fun, but then the Coyotes would kind of come in and put a damper on the good vibes that the Sharks had been putting out, and Clayton Keller would get his 12th of the year from Kerfoot and Dursey.
Okay,
and
I have to ask a question about the Sharks defense today.
Yeah.
Did it go on vacation? Is it wrapped in a present somewhere under a tree?
what
the fuck was that defense?
I think they're ready for that Christmas vacation already. They think I don't know what it is, if their minds are already set on on other things, but who knows at this point. But all I know is that Alexander Kerfoot's MVP MVP-like performance would continue with his goal, and factoring in on the second goal of the evening, coming in with his third goal of the year. But
of course. How many of those were against the fucking Sharks? Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, right. Schmaltz and Dursey would also get the assist. Well, I've seen Dursey here quite a few times. He might be.
Jersey's like I don't mean to pick on Kerfoot. I just told Landy before the show started, you're a bad team when you make Alex Kerfoot look like MVP, and so now this has just been going on now.
Yeah, it's the Alex Kerfoot hour.
and I will say this, the defense was there tonight, but also Blackwood's 5-hole was just wide open for business tonight. Like every single goal was just through the fucking 5-hole, and I don't know what's like he was like that was a bad game for Blackwood.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, we can talk about that. And just the 5-hole control, I think also you could tell that he was a tad bit slow getting into the butterfly as well. And I think that even the broadcast kind of highlighted, and I don't know if you were watching the NHL broadcast, but please, Randy, come back. We miss you. But I just feel like Blackwood, when he was having success, was getting into the butterfly a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And had a little bit better of control of his stick, where his stick would be on the ice a little bit more, covering the 5-hole. And I don't know what little habit has kind of creeped into his game where he's picking up the stick just a tad bit, but that 5-hole is becoming, uncovered. And I think we saw him get victimized on it tonight a couple times.
No, and like Arizona was constantly targeting that. And like I have to give props to Arizona. It might have just been the Sharks making them look good. They are a very good fucking team. Like it's nice to see them doing good. Oh yeah. No, it's nice to see Arizona doing good and like
I think that they have some really nice young pieces, and I think that they have, I think that they are starting to identify what can be core pieces for them going forward.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I think that if they can navigate, getting a new arena and all of the exterior stuff, then I think the team's got a legit shot at doing something special in the next couple of years. And maybe, and when I say something special, I mean, make a extensive playoff run and, again, challenge for Pacific Division that I think right now you kind of see the power being in Vegas. But I mean, Vegas is going to fall off, and I think you're seeing.
Don't tell that to Vegas fans; they don't want to hear that.
It'll happen quicker than they think. And then the ascension of LA, and I think the ascension of Seattle, and I think Arizona could definitely slide right in there, competing for top 3 in the Pacific for sure. So I like I like what they're doing.
They have a prospect out there that's 6'9", I think at now, Daniil Boot. So like they have a lot of young kids also coming up. So it's exciting. Anyways, back to this horrible game, but just wanted to shout out Arizona.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right for doing that, because I think that they do have some very cool futures on the way. So, the Sharks would end the second period 3-1, with Arizona leading them 3-1.
Yep.
And just really not showing all that much discipline. I mean, I think the team also got a little bit frustrated with some penalty troubles. I think the team also looked a little flustered in that second period as well after the flurry of goals. And again, just kind of more of that malaise that we saw against LA, where it was just kind of resigned to their fate. In the third period, Philip Zadina would score a goal and make it 3-2 and kind of give the Sharks a little bit of life.
That line I really liked. Like, keep them together, at least for another game. You can change it up later because Barbie was healthy scratch, and we'll get to that later. But, like, I think with that's those skill sets each of those individuals have, like Eklund behind the net, I will rave about it, is a fucking cheat code. Prove me otherwise. But yeah, I really like the skill set those three have, and it was nice to see them get on the board. They were like the one bright spot, I think, of tonight. We could all say that.
Yeah, but I mean, even the bright spot that we saw, I still feel like it still wasn't enough to me from the whole team, right? Yes, you had one line that did kind of start to put some offensive pressure together. But if that's all we're saying, just one little spark engine on a team, like, it's just really bad. It's just really bad.
It's easy to shut it down. Teams can just target that one line and then, like, nothing's going. Because we've seen when Granlund's line isn't going, teams just target Hurdle's line. And Hurdle can't do much, and neither can Eklund, and neither can, whoever's on their other wing, because they're always up against the best players. So it's like kind of just a one-man offense at that point. And I think that's what's kind of happened. We've seen Granlund cool down. We've seen Dookie cool down.
Yeah.
We've seen all of the other guys cool down. So it's just, again, Hurdle and the elves of people. Hurdle and the children. Yeah.
Well, we just put up a vote in the chat. Should Kakinen start consecutive games?
I know they have a back-to-back. I think it's next weekend with the Oilers and Kings. Don't do that. But if you want to start Kakinen when they're playing Vancouver, go for it. And then I don't know who you start between the Oilers and Kings. You can pick your poison there if you want to put Blackwood in. But yeah.
Yeah. And then this is kind of where I was thinking the Sharks kind of unraveled in the end and really showed that the team is still a long way away from doing anything of note, and just ended up giving up a power play goal from Nick Schmaltz, his 10th of the year. Kerfoot and Keller would get assists. There's that guy again, Kerfoot.
MVP.
MVP. And again, I did not love the power play in which they gave up, the actual infraction. I thought it was a lazy penalty. And
Welcome to the Sharks and the Cuda.
yeah, exactly. Lawson Krause would end the scoring rampage that was the Coyotes with his 14th of the year. Michelli and Bugstad would get the assists at 12:50, and the Arizona Coyotes would end up beating the Sharks 5-2, and the Sharks comeback kids story has certainly started kind of fading into the memory now, and the depression of how bad the team is kind of sticks its ugly head back in the mirror again.
And this is why we have World Juniors. I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I mean, the good vibe Sharks are kind of gone right now. It's back to tank and draft, and us being like, when's the draft? We can only talk about a turd so many times before there's nothing else to talk about. But yeah, and we do have to give the Yotes their credit. Like they're a good fucking team. I cannot lie. Very up and coming, young, exciting team with like Logan Cooley. They have Dylan
Lawson
Gunther down in the
Krause.
AHL.
I mean,
Lawson Krause.
I also, I mean, as much as we give grief about Kerfoot, I think he's still a good depth player. A good depth player.
And he's gonna go ahead and score a hat trick versus like the Leafs, So
Clayton Keller. I mean, we didn't talk about Clayton Keller, and
that guy's a cheat code.
Exactly. So I mean, again, you're starting to see some of that young nucleus starting to gel together for the Coyotes, and I think that if they're successful, that definitely helps their overall stability. And then kind of shows that they belong in Arizona.
I really want a playoff game at Mullet. I fucking want a playoff game at Mullet, and I want all of them to wear the mullet wigs.
Oh my goodness, you're cheering for that chaos, aren't you?
Absolutely, I cheer for any chaos, guys. Random note, but I am also very pumped for World Juniors. I don't know who said that in the chat. I am the Bear Plugs 831. Very excited for World Juniors.
Yeah. No, World Juniors is always a great, gives us a great eye towards the future, and gives us a really good idea of the up and coming kids. And I know a lot of people will poo-poo it and say, oh, well, the World Juniors really overinflates kids and stuff, but I still think it's the best on best tournament for kids at that age. And I think it's one of those tournaments where you do gain a lot of intel, and you do gain kind of an understanding of what they'll do in a playoff type situation or like a high leverage type situation. So it'll be very interesting to see, especially, with the Sharks looking as if they are looking the way they're going. They could be mining very high in the second round and in the first round. I mean, if the first round,
that Pittsburgh pick,
yeah,
but
if that, if the Sharks, if we can somehow bring Celebrini home and do that first overall, but I mean, second, I would, the second round being very, very high. I mean, that's almost like a low first rounder, and you've got to be able to execute at a high level in those picks as well. So again, we'll see where they end up, but I think the team is still way off in its trajectory, and I think it still needs to be in the amassing assets phase. And I kind of wanted to lead into that, Jules. What do you think are some of the pieces that need to be maximized on this team before the trading deadline?
I'm a little okay. So I love Anthony Duclair and I love Alexander Barabanov. But I think you have to let one of them go and sell high on one of them. Now, I don't know how high their value is in the market. I don't know if you go for like whichever one's higher. I say you have a ton of UFAs. You got to maximize that, and you got to sell them off to contending teams. Maybe even if you can move Granlund, I know he has 1 year left at 5 million, but he's been playing better. I would say if you can maximize on Granlund, get that contract off, see what you can get. Ferraro, if you get a first round pick, how do you not say now? Who the fuck's gonna give a first rounder for Ferraro? I would love to hear that. But I think just maximizing the fact that you have so much cap space, you have so many deals that are expiring. See what you can get. See if you can get more second rounders in this draft. See if you can get more first rounders in this draft. See if you can get a 2025 first rounder, because I fucking love that draft class. So just
oh my goodness, somebody said Celebrini and Jerome McGinley's kid. I mean, look, that would just be the ultimate.
I don't think oh my god, I don't who's the other oh my god, why am I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on the other guy's name, but I don't think I would survive that draft. Like you guys would just see me just collapse. That would be too much.
I mean, it'd be the ultimate troll move, though. I mean, against the Oilers. I mean,
yeah.
I know the ultimate troll move would either be the Oilers or I think the Sharks have had, that had some really big playoff battles against Jerome back in the day. I don't know. I'm nostalgic for those early aughts Sharks teams, but it'd be really interesting. There's going to be some really good prospects coming up in this draft. I don't think it's going to be as deep as last draft, but I think that there will be some interesting kind of far out there prospects, and some prospects that would be complementary to what the Sharks already have.
And I mean, like Dottie said, this draft is loaded for D-man. Like, they need a number one D-man. I think that's what they're also lacking. Oh, okay, so Barabanov wasn't healthy scratch. He was just ill. Okay, good to know. But like, they're lacking that number one D-man. Like, I love Mook Madulin. I think Mook Madulin's going to be great. I fucking love Cagnoni. But like, I don't know if he's a number one. But yeah, send Sharky to China. But yeah, I mean, just maximize the assets you have. You're in a pretty good position for a rebuilding team. And Sam Dickinson is fucking amazing. I love him too. But yeah.
Ian, Logan knows what's up.
Do we need to draft a mascot? Like, are we drafting a mascot at this draft also now?
Yeah, like
can we trade mascots? We'll take Gritty from Philadelphia.
Yeah, no, I love me some Gritty. Let's freaking get some Rit dye and freaking dye that Gritty teal.
Yeah, no, we're gonna dye Gritty teal. Gritty's gonna be the new mascot. Does that work, Ian? Do you think the Sharks will be better if we send Sharky to Philly and send Gritty down to San Jose?
See, Gritty, Gritty. You knew he was legit when he came in and had the googly eyes. Like, it was the googly eyes.
Fucking terrifying. It's like the fucking Seattle mascot. I saw that and I was like, I'm going to have nightmares.
I don't know. I always liked Gritty.
Call up Frenzy and Sharky to the AHL. Do mascots have to go through waivers? Is that a rule?
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, no, like, in all seriousness, I think the Sharks are in a good position for a rebuilding team to acquire assets. They have a buttload of expiring contracts.
Yeah.
Now which of them are performing or not? No, I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I would have loved to have seen more from Hoffman and more from Zadina, to try to kind of rehabilitate where they're at and try to get more assets for them. But I think right now, if you're looking at like players in which you can actually get some value, I think you look at guys like Duclair. I think you look at Granlund. I think you look at LeBanc to a certain extent.
Banker has just been disappointing, though. Like,
he's just
I
really
love Banker. He's playing himself out of the league, and now I know, like, he's probably gonna go sign like a $1 million contract somewhere, but like, he's playing himself a little out of the league, like, and he's gotten a chance up with Hurdle. He's gotten a chance. I should stop reading this chat, but like, he's just kind of playing himself out of the league, which is sad because I liked Banker. He's a good player, but I don't know what's going on right now with him.
I mean, him and I mean, you really feel for Pickles and just how bad, how bad his career has kind of taken a turn for, and you feel bad for his personal life and just everything that's going on there. It's got to be it's just got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot for him, and now being questioned on kind of more the Canadian national media, and being questioned about his love and passion for the game.
Yeah,
It's just not fair to him. I mean, he's been a consummate professional. He's been, a shark through and through. I think, if anything, he should probably take some time and step away from the game for a little bit and figure out his life first.
no, 100%. And
Uh,
yeah, Pickles is in a rough position right now, and I do feel bad for him.
I mean, maybe
'Cause-
maybe retiring is the right thing to do for him right now. I mean, maybe just saying, hey, you know what? I've had a career. He's what, 34, 35?
I don't know. I thought he was 37, but that sounds very wrong in my head right now. Hold on, I'm checking. Someone in the chat, does anyone know?
I thought
But
he was signed till he was 37.
that might be more likely. I just think my ages are also very wrong typically. He's 36 right now
Oh, he's 36. Okay. So
and signed for 3 more fucking years. Or yeah.
yeah, so it's like 36. He's done everything except for win a cup. I don't think he's going to win a cup by the end of that contract.
He's not. And like like Ian said, he's one of I think he's everyone's favorite punching bag right now. But like he's still human, and I think that gets forgotten a lot with hockey.
Yeah.
Just like the human aspect of it, like with the Jordan Kyrou stuff. Like I think we really saw how human, like these guys are still human. Like we can dish them, we can talk trash about them, but they're still human.
I mean, pro athletes' lives are very difficult. I mean, as far as, look, yes, they make a lot of money, but you have to remember too that they have to maximize the amount of money that they can make within a 10-year span before, 10 to 15-year span before their career is over with. And they have a finite amount of years to play. Then afterwards, most of them haven't completed a college degree. So, then you got to figure out what you're going to do afterwards. But the years that you're in the league, it's constantly being on the road, constantly being away from your family, constantly, having to, do long distance FaceTimes and Skypes and, missing birthdays and missing, Christmases and this and that. And so, for a marriage, I mean, that if you're not completely in sync there, it can be really difficult. And I feel bad for Pickles because of just, just the amount of, for athletes, I think they get a lot of stability from their family life, and not having that, really sucks. It really sucks. And so I'm sure,
and like
to have your professional career being questioned and then not having your family life to help stabilize that, you must feel really isolated right now.
no, and then like I honestly, if Pickles does retire, and like I honestly kind of want them to retire his jersey just because he was such like he's really like the true definition. Like he was a Shark his whole career. Wore that jersey, still wears that jersey with so much pride. And like someone threw in the chat, him and Braun, that pairing was ridiculous.
He's the last shark. He's the last shark to have worn the old crest, not including the heritage jersey.
Yeah, and like he was one of my when I was growing up as a little kid watching the Sharks, he was one of my favorite players to watch because like he was one of the first players I knew from the Sharks. Like so, yeah, shout out to him. Hopefully everything was like things will get better for him, and he's a Sharks forever Shark.
Exactly.
Forever Shark.
Exactly. And just from the skinny that I know, his wife is from Montreal. He's originally from Montreal, and being away from your family and being away from your support system and stuff. I mean, that takes a toll on you eventually. And my I grew up partly in Europe, and I was over there for 9 years, and being away from my family for that long, it was difficult. So you can only imagine what they've had to deal with and what they're going through. But anyhow, story for another day, and we'll see where he ends up. But yeah, continues to be scratched. We'll see what happens with him. I don't know that there's a lot of value that can be extracted at this point.
Yeah, and Vlasic was also on Team Canada. That is true. Just they're shut down D-man. Yeah. So shout out to Vlasic. Pickles.
Sorry, Aaron Vlasic is not married. No, he was.
He was, yeah.
Okay, so from there, Jules, I mean, I think I'm about really ready to wrap it up. But I mean, if you want to talk a little bit more about Cuda, or if you want to talk a little bit more about prospects, I'm certainly willing to go down the rabbit hole a little bit. But
just World Juniors, I don't remember the last time, as Mark said, I think on Twitter, I don't remember the last, or I'm sorry, on X, don't come at me. The last time the Sharks had this many prospects. I think I lost count, but it's like 6, 7 world prospects at anyone can tell me the last time they've had that many prospects at a World Juniors. So keep an eye out for World Juniors. Look out. The future is coming. They're going to help. Do we fire McCarthy? Absolutely we do. And I think a lot of people will agree with me on that front.
Oof, I know. It's just I think the organization needs some tweaks. I mean, I won't say overhaul, because I think Greer has started to, hit some real solid, hit on some solid pieces. But I think that there's still some things that, definitely are needing to be adjusted. But in case you missed it and you want to check it out again, check us out across all of the social media platforms. And again, check us out across a lot of different podcasting platforms, that being the Apple Podcast Store, the Google Play Store, the YouTube Rewind, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, and then, of course, subscribe, hit the bell notification button to know when we go live. Of course, if you are a long time, you know that we go live after every single Sharks game. And then, of course, check us out at tealtownusa.com. I'm sorry, Jules, I cut you off there, but I just wanted to quickly just wanted to quickly pick up on your final thoughts. And then once you're finished with your final thoughts, where the people can find you?
Sharks are bad. Again, welcome back, Sharks. It was nice. You were good for like 2 weeks. I appreciate it. Made me lose a bet. I appreciate that too. Welcome back to being bad, and sell Brini. That's all. And you can find me at Sharks Jules. I'll be trying to retweet stuff from World Juniors, and so prospects update, stuff like that.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, thank you so much, Jules. And yeah, check her out, Sharks_Jules on the X machine. As far as my final thoughts go, look, I think the team needs to start playing with a little bit more gusto. I don't know really how else to put it, but have a little bit more pride in their games right now. I'm not seeing a lot of pushback on some of the better teams, and that's a little upsetting when you want to make some good habits for a young team. As far as where you can find me, you can use my first name, that's ERIK, last name LANDI, across all of the social media garbage. And for all of us at Teal Town, USA, you know what we always love to say: keep it real, keep it teal, and keep it real, Teal. We'll see you after the next Sharks game, and happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.